Hello everybody, welcome back to the show. And today's episode, I want to get started in making steel. And the way to make steel is in a blast furnace. Now, at this point in time, the only blast furnace we can make is called the bronze-plated blast furnace. Now, if you don't know about the multi-structures in GregTech, all of the multi-block structures, I said multi-structures, didn't I? All of the multi-block structures are built with a control block and then various other blocks that are used to build it. So in the case of the bronze-plated blast furnace, this here is the control block. You can see it gives you a description. It allows you to get your first steel. It is a multi-block structure. It's 3x3x4, hollow with an opening on top. And it requires 32 bronze-plated bricks. So, if we look at the recipe for this, we can see that it requires 4 furnaces, 4 bronze plates. That doesn't seem too terrible. But remember, when we look at this, it requires 32 bronze-plated bricks. So let's look up bronze-plated bricks. They look like this. And here's the recipe. It requires bricks, obviously in the center, and 6 bronze plates. And that only makes 1. Which means I need 6 bronze plates times 32. That's pretty crazy. But what's even crazier is the fact that in order to make a bronze plate, remember, I have to hammer 2 bronze ingots to make 1 bronze plate. That means I need basically need 12 ingots per one of these. 12 times 32. As far as my calculation goes, that is the equivalent to 6 stacks of bronze. Yes, a lot of bronze to make this structure. So I have been cooking away, and I do believe I now have 6 stacks of bronze. So I'm going to go ahead and make these items, and I'll come back and put them all together. Okay, so now that I have the control block of the bronze-plated blast furnace and the bronze-plated bricks, I want to build this multi-block structure. Now, one thing that's always important to remember with a multi-block structure is you do not want to build it in a way where it will cross chunk boundaries. So using F9, I can see where my chunk boundaries are by this green lines. You can see them there. And you don't want to build a multi-block structure so that part of it is in one chunk and part of it is in another. Now, theoretically, if you're using a chunk loader, that should not be a problem. But if you have multi-block structures and for some reason you start experiencing some weird things, bugs or issues, check and see if they're built across a chunk boundary, because if they are, that could be the problem. All right, so this is pretty basic. I mean, the bronze-plated blast furnace, it tells you in the tooltip that it's 3x3x4, and I do believe that is X and then Z and then Y. So it's 4 tall and 3x3, but it's hollow in the middle. So this control block usually is going to go somewhere centrally located. Sometimes on the tooltip, it might tell you where it goes. In this case, it really doesn't. But this is sort of an interesting thing. If you look at this, this actually tells you how the structure is made. It's like a little diagram, if you will. And so there's a 3x3 and then a hollow ring, and a hollow ring. Now you'll see that most of these are the same color, and this one right here in the front is just slightly off colored. and that would be the actual control block. So you can see I actually need a layer of 3x3 of the bronze plated bricks down first, and then this control block would go on the second level up. So I'm going to use my wrench to pick this back up, like so, and now I can do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then this is going to form like a ring, if you will, like that, and then this control block is going to go in the center of this part, right? And so now go ahead and finish building up this ring. 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, like, oops, like this. And once it's done and completed, it should go ahead and form together as a multi-block structure. So I hope that it has. I think that I've done that right. Now, it's hollow, and you'll see that this is sort of open. This needs to be open. Don't put anything over the space right above this. So for example, don't put something like that, because that will cause it to not work. It needs to have that space to sort of vent out, steam or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so now that this is done, how does it work? It's actually pretty simple. You're going to put charcoal. I believe coal works as well, but usually charcoal here and then iron or wrought iron here in order to turn it into steel. Now, I believe, I can turn my chunk boundaries off. I believe that wrought iron will cause it to work faster. So I'm going to go ahead and put coal and put wrought iron like that. And it is not working. Nothing is happening, and it's probably because this multi-block is not formed properly, because it doesn't look like it has formed properly. And I don't know why. I feel like I've made it properly. 32 bronze plated bricks, etc., etc. 3x3x4 hollow on the top. All right. Well, let me figure out why this isn't working. Okay, I found out what my problem is. Apparently, I think I cannot use wrought iron in the bronze plated blast furnace. It has to be regular iron. So I'm going to put in iron. Now, I think charcoal, I believe it requires apparently it requires 4 pieces of charcoal in order to process this. There's no recipes that come up or anything like that. So I don't know if this other coal or this coal coke from the PFAA mod, I don't know whether or not those would work for it. But, I know regular coal will work. I don't know if these special coals from the PFAA mod will work. But I'll do some experiments on that. And I don't know if there's a difference between the amount of coal versus charcoal. I sort of remember that regular coal, would be about half as many pieces. So maybe it only requires 2 coal to process an iron. But I will run experiments on that as well and let you guys know. But as you can see, it takes a long time for this thing to work. You can see it smoking out the top. Again, that's why that cannot be covered. And if you look in there, oh, come on. Oh, I can't jump up there. Oh, here we go. If you look in there, you'll even see like little like fiery type stuff going on. If you fall in there, it's probably not a good idea. I wouldn't recommend it. So yeah, that'll take a little bit of time to work, and I'm going to come back when I have my first piece of steel. I read on a wiki that it takes 300 seconds to make 1 steel ingot in the blast furnace, and it seems about right. I think I've been waiting here pretty close to 5 minutes. You can see it's getting close to being done. But the thing that's important here is that you'll notice that there's no input. I don't have to provide it with steam. I don't have to provide it with electricity. Obviously, I'm not making electricity yet. So it's just, the coal or the charcoal and the iron. So this is definitely a situation where the chunk loader will come in handy, because I can put the charcoal and iron into the blast furnace and then go off and get some resources while I wait for this to process, a stack or so of iron or whatever I can get it to do. As you can see, I've got my first piece of steel, and I even got an achievement for making steel, and there it is. 1 steel ingot and some tiny pile of dark ashes. You get a little bit of that as well, which I assume you can use for something later on. But for now, I'm not too terribly concerned about it. I'll just put it away there. But there we go. Have our first steel. Very exciting. And steel is extremely important because moving into the electrical age, pretty much the first way that we have of creating some type of electricity is with the basic steam turbine. And the basic steam turbine is centered around a low voltage machine hull, and that machine hull requires steel plates. It says refined iron plates, but I don't think I actually have a way of making those. I don't think I can make refined iron, but steel plates. And you can see there's at least 8 steel plates there. There's another 3 steel plates there. And again, each one of those requires 2 ingots. So yes, I'm going to need a lot of steel just to be able to move into the electrical age. But that is going to be a goal for a different episode. That's going to do it for this episode. As always, I thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, comments, hints, tips, tricks, complaints, whatever, leave them for me in the comment section down below. I will read them. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.